Okay, we watched up to the first commercial break. And I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting the beginning of the episode with Mr. Burns getting shot. However, we're at the first commercial break, and he's still alive. So we don't exactly have a lot to go off of yet. I did pick up on a few clues, though, and we're gonna break those down. In the opening credits during the theme song, one of the sections is where Bart Simpson writes on chalkboard. And it's usually different every episode. Well, this episode, it says, "This is not a clue." Or is it? So I'm going to assume it's a clue. And since Bart is the one writing on the chalkboard, I assume that it either has something to do with Bart or the school. That theory was immediately proven correct when the episode starts off in the school. We see that the pet gerbil at the school has died. And we find out that it was crushed by its own water. Now, what do we know about this whodunit? We know that Mr. Burns is going to get shot at some point. And now, all of a sudden, this episode is starting off with the death of a gerbil. I do not think that that's a coincidence. I think that it's going to relate to Mr. Burns' accident as well. I believe the kids call this foreshadowing. Since the gerbil died by its own water bottle, it's safe to assume that, if this is foreshadowing, that Mr. Burns is going to get shot by his own hand, per se. And this is a theory that I believe in even more, because then there's another scene where we see Mr. Burns try to booby trap someone, and it doesn't work. And he says something along the lines of, "I can't make heads or tails of these booby traps." Was that a good impression? I think it's pretty good. I can't make hide nor hair with these electric booby traps. So my current theory is that Mr. Burns is going to try to booby trap someone, and it's going to be that booby trap that ends up shooting him. Like, I think it's going to be his own doing, and it was an accident that he hurt himself. And that will be the big reveal, right? Is that no one shot Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns shot Mr. Burns. Now, the whole premise of this episode so far is that the school has struck oil, which, sure. But the only thing that we have seen Mr. Burns be involved in with this plot point is the fact that he disguises himself as a student to try to get the school to, just give him the oil. And he's quickly found out by the principal, and it seems like those two just don't get along, which would make the principal our first major suspect. But I don't know if we could really pick him as a suspect, considering Mr. Burns had shot him. So, right now, we have no suspects. But I do have to lock in a pick for who I think shot Mr. Burns right now during this commercial break. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in that Mr. Burns shot Mr. Burns, because I do feel really good about that.
Simpsons Mystery Sweepstakes. Keep watching Fox for clues, and don't let the Simpsons season premiere on September 17th.
We're back for our second commercial break, and it looks like we got